Good evening, good morning, and good night. Welcome to Inappropriate Radio. It's your host, Shauna. Let's get into this. So, hi guys. I hope all is well. I hope everybody is doing whatever it is that they do. If you have been following, then you know that we've been going over the periodic table. Every now and again, the Most High might cut in and say, hey, I want to talk about something. I actually started recording earlier, but I was stopped because I had to pack and move some things. I did start recording, but I'm going to change the topic. The topic was about sobriety. God asked me, why was I afraid to be sober? And he asked me what version of myself did I believe I was going to get being sober. So, and this sobriety, I guess I'll talk about it. Okay, fine. This sobriety is not always about drugs, right? Of course, yes, we're talking about drinking and drugs and smoking and things like that. But this is also making reference to the environment that you're in, situations that you're in. Sometimes we get into intoxicating relationships or situations or environments. This could be your house. This could be like the complex or the building or the street or the area where you live. This could be your workplace, right? I know where I am, there's a section of my city that's 85% Hispanic, right? And for a person like me, with the warfare that I have going on and just being in that particular environment, Hispanic people are rather sensitive to warfare, meaning they can look and sense and pick up people who are actively being attacked in the spirit. People from all islands and different cultures have their own ways, but particularly the Hispanic community has a really, really close and good observation when it comes to warfare. Now, the reason why I believe initially was because I had been discussing my issues and the things that I feel like I appreciate about sobriety, and then the opposite end of that. Of course, we go through withdrawals. People don't believe it, but there are withdrawal symptoms from not smoking marijuana as well. Alcohol is probably the most dangerous in regards to a set of withdrawal symptoms, but it's taken lightly, I believe, because of the legality, right? The politics of it. Liquor is legal, right? But in terms of the worst withdrawal symptoms, you can look this up. It's definitely alcohol, okay? Now, in the beginning, like I said, I believe this initial conversation was geared towards being of a sober mind and a sober spirit. There's a saying that a person who is angry acts like a person that is drunk. You just ramble on, and it's really hard for you to see and understand, and you basically can't contain yourself. I am guilty of being someone who acts like a drunk person when they get upset. Okay? So this is something that I can, attest to because of my experience and just my overall journey with my ability to master certain behaviors and just thought process. Now, when we're speaking of being sober, like I said, initially I know it was about, just refraining and abstaining from any substance that is not God, right? So anything that can intoxicate you and change your state of mind, right? So again, environments, the people that we are around. What do you associate with these people? We talked about associations yesterday. Like when you get around certain areas or certain people, what do you automatically feel you need to do when you're in their presence? That's something that needs to be addressed if you plan on having a less bumpy ascension. Somebody made a joke and told me that when you are spiritually ascending, they don't tell you that sometimes it's like bathing the cat. And it is. You have to do a lot of shaking and rattling to get out of your own will and to get in the will of the Creator. A lot of the times, I myself, I go through this emotional thing with me where I'm like really just baffled on how to function. I'm not even gonna lie, like without smoking. For a long time, it was really hard for me to be like, okay, I don't have no bud and I'm not gonna have no bud and I'm cool with that. Like, I would go through these panic attacks, like if I didn't smoke, right? And I had to get myself to where it's like, okay, if I don't have bud, then I just won't smoke. Like, it took me a while to get to that. Like, I had to smoke. I had to, even if I wasn't smoking, I had to know that I had smoke for later, right? Your ability and your willingness to stay sober creates an opportunity for you to connect with the Most High. And this is something that I know is not just for me, but it is for me, but it's not just for me. This is something that we all need to kind of just practice. A lot of times I get like messages that are specifically for me, and then I'm like, okay, God, am I sharing this with the collective or is this for me? And then he'll constantly keep giving me confirmation of what I'm supposed to be talking about on the podcast for the day. And all day long I had been seeing little things that's like, okay, you need to do X, you need to do Y, you don't need to do Z, right? So I think the more we start tapping in with ourselves, because being sober and being high off life is a really crazy high. Like, I used to describe my emotional feelings of someone as intoxicating, and then I realized that was actually toxic, right? Of course, pure love has this high that's incomparable. You don't really have a name or word to give it. But when you are in a situation with a person where certain vibrations, and when I say certain vibrations, I mean your overall state of being, right? When your willingness to open up to the Creator is shifting, when your perception of the world around you is shifting, solely when you get around people that might not really be the best or the healthiest for you, that's toxic, that's intoxicating, that is not sober, right? Oftentimes we look at this soberness as abstaining and refraining from substances, but we don't always talk about environments and relationships and thought processes that can also keep us intoxicated, and they don't sober us up. So if you're not like a spiritual person, or if you don't speak in the terms of spirituality, or you're not religious, or you're not conscious, you're not going to follow me. Like I said, I'm battling my own demons with sobriety, so this is not something like that I'm just like saying, just talking about. It's a conversation that the Most High wants you to have with yourself. Like, what are you dealing with that your natural state is not appeasing to you? I made you this way. What is going on with you that the way I formed you is such a complication? And of course, we form habits. So this just goes back to the topic from yesterday of reframing your mind, changing your environment, changing your standards, changing, and of course, it's not easy. Habits are formed over time, obviously they say it's easier to form them than to break them. But, I've heard it takes 21 days to make or break a habit, right? I think we discussed this a while ago, how young I was when I started smoking. I was really, really young. So I know that, like, the average person my age, I might have a few years on them with smoking, right? Like, a person who's my age may have started smoking maybe 4 or 5 years after I did. I started really young. So that's what I'm saying. Like, and I'm not going to blame, like, family, but I was exposed to this stuff. It's not like I just woke up one day like, yeah, I'm going to hit this cigarette. Like, it was like, nah, go dump this cigarette in the toilet for me. Like that. Or go to the store, take this note and get X, Y, Z. So that's what I mean. Like, we've become so comfortable with being in these altered states that we don't even realize we often are changing our own realities when we decide to change. Now, again, everyone has their own reason for indulging. I'm not judging you, trust me. Like, I like to have a good time too. Okay? But the issue is that number one, it's wasting currency, right? We're wasting energy. That's a resource that can be used for something more useful. I'm guilty of it, way guilty. And it's also encouraging behaviors and thought processes that needs to be addressed and alleviated. So, and this is mainly towards people who are in the conscious, religious, woke, spiritual communities, right? Because obviously if you represent anything beneath that, you don't care about what kids are doing drugs and who's addicted to what. I'm saying for the people who are actively working on their ascension and actively believing in the Most High, no matter what it is that they do as a human, their heart and their mind is open to the Creator, like the most supreme being of all beings, the Creator of all creations. Like, that's what I'm talking about, right? We have our own concept of life as individuals. And then as you start to fill out your bubbles, you start noticing that you have other things in common with people from backgrounds that may not be similar to your own. But the constant is the Creator. So that's like the starting point. And I'm saying that to say that when you put yourself in a certain position, you are free to do many things. And if you choose for it to be a lack of sobriety, you have to understand the things that come with that, spiritually, socially, economically, physically, mentally. Like, you have to understand that there are things that come with not being sober. And I was talking to, one of my friends. He was like, what, so you're just gonna be just sober for the rest of your life all the time? And I'm like, yo, like, do you understand? He was like, that's boring. And I'm like, do you understand how much money a person who doesn't do drugs can save, can have? Do you understand how fucking pure your body is? Do you understand your ability to manifest? Like, how fast your manifestations would come through? Like, I haven't been scribing because I've been moving around. I'm not stable. But usually when I scribe, if I'm not smoking or like doing anything crazy, literally I see my manifestations within hours. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, I'll start seeing proof of what I'm calling in to come in immediately. So if you're a pure vessel with connections to the Creator and you're gifted, please, you would be like the next freaking whoever you want to be, right? But I'm gonna end it there. I do love y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed your weekend. As for me, I'm trying to make sure I keep them greens in my body and that fruit, okay? I do love y'all. I hope y'all got your rest, eat your fruit, your vegetables, and drink your water. And I hope y'all are happy and healthy and being careful, working out, and, staying away from this air. And really, really minding your business and sipping your tea because it's free, okay? But I love y'all. Peace.